Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 48 of Franklin and Douglas, where we talk about current events and give you bad advice. I'm Franklin, and with me, as always, is my buddy Douglas. Double D, how's it going?
Buddy, it's going great. We just had the 4th of July yesterday, so I had on my red, white, and blue lame shorts and my
We were
sneaker top.
not supposed to be celebrating that yesterday. You got the memo.
Listen, I am in Whiteyville, Ohio, so gotta keep up
That's true.
appearances.
That's true. I did walk around with my banger hat on yesterday too.
I did red, white, and blue in my hair.
Oh yeah, you should have. That'd have been nice. 'Cause I'm pretty sure they were like, "Why aren't you representing for the fourth? You represented for those gays."
Right. June is over. It's now America's time.
A miracle, miracle.
But yeah,
That's great.
other than that, I was telling you earlier, just had a little party we went to yesterday, very chill, So, like you said,
Let everybody know you didn't stay long.
no, I stayed for about 2 hours. Listen, I made an appearance. But
That's all we can ask for.
the one thing I wanted to ask you too is so where I live every year, like people are blowing off fireworks, like starting at least like a couple weeks, a week before the 4th of July. And like this year has been like nothing.
Exactly.
Okay.
I was going to say the same exact thing. Normally, throughout the week, I can hear tons of fireworks going off, and even I got home mid evening yesterday.
Mhm.
No fireworks
Yeah.
until later, I guess. I mean, I just heard a couple of big booms and I was like, oh crap, here comes Iran. But
Right.
that was it. But I mean, really, that was it. I totally forgot. Excuse me. I totally forgot that it was the 4th of July
Right.
because there was no fireworks.
Right.
I mean, normally I have I where I live, there's like a nice open field and there's a church right behind me,
Mhm.
and they usually have functions there, and the kids are out there playing with their fireworks. Nothing this year,
Yeah.
nothing, and so yeah, it was very very interesting, very weird as well. I mean, I like fireworks as far as looking at them, but yeah, to not hear anything. And then I don't know if you caught out here in California, there was a huge firework warehouse explosion,
Oh.
like towards Sacramento area kind of thing, and a lot of people got lost their lives. Unfortunately, this was a huge explosion, fireworks. It wasn't licensed apparently,
Mm.
and so yeah, it was really bad. It looked like a like I say a huge bomb had went off in this factory, and so that was this past week, and unfortunately, several people lost their lives on that. So,
Insane. Yeah, our
yeah,
viewers too, or listeners, like let us know in the comments if you noticed a difference in fireworks this year too. But
right,
yeah,
right.
that was weird. But besides that, anything else going on with you this week?
Well, I mean, it was a good week because it was a short work week,
Yes.
thankfully. And so that's always exciting. And then I did just get my physical, and
Oh,
right, yeah, and
let's
I am
get
happy to
physical.
report. Oh, rest in peace, Olivia.
Oh.
So I am happy to report that I am still a fatty, but not as fat before.
Yay.
Okay, but there's one strange thing, and I talked to you about it. There was one strange thing is that happened. You know how they take your weight and your height, right?
Yep.
Well, I've always been 5'5". Okay,
Yeah.
they took it yesterday, and I'm 5'6" now. Okay, so I was like, I asked the nurse, I was like, you want to take that again? I think that's wrong. And she took it again, and I'm 5'6". And so the fat that I lost, the weight that I lost, did it make me taller?
Right.
Right? And I'm like, because I thought when you get older, you kind of shrink a little. No. And she took it and she looked at the report. She was like, yeah, you have always been 5'5". And I took my shoes off. I didn't have any, any heels, any lifts on or anything like that. She took it 3 times. Each time I was 5'6".
Just like it redistributed itself like at the bottom of
Yeah.
your feet or something.
So who knows? By the end of the year, I could be what, 6 feet tall.
You're like a Benjamin buttoning it in height.
Yeah. Well, black don't crack anyway, so I'm always gonna look this way.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that was so interesting. But yeah, I made her take it. I'm like, are we sure this is correct? And so either one, they've been taking it wrong all these years, or two, yeah, I grew.
Make sure she was pressing the thing on the top of your head. You got a
Right,
couple
right.
extra
And
inches in your ponytail or something.
no, I had my hair flat. And the other times before it was always braided, but they just smashed it down on my head. So I don't know. Okay. So what do you have for us today?
Well, I figured I'd keep the theme loosely on America since we had
Loosely.
the 4th of July. So I want to bring up some very American type topics here. So,
Okay.
first one is so have you ever thought that a meme could get you deported?
The ones that we send, yeah. That's why I always keep, as I told you, I keep foil on my phone so no one can track us.
Right. Well, apparently that's what happened to a Norwegian tourist named Mads Mikkelsen. No, not that Mad Mikkelsen from Hannibal.
I was about to say, what?
Yeah.
Not the love of my life. What?
I'm like, I knew you'd make that connection. So, but no, just a regular guy from Tromsø. I hope I'm saying that right, which is a city north of the Arctic Circle in
Did you
Norway.
say Trump say?
Not Trump say, Tromsø.
Oh, Trump say. Baltimore, Maryland.
Exactly. So so Mads was set to visit friends in New York and Texas on June 11th when he alleges that he was denied entry into the US after ICE agents found a JD Vance meme on his phone. So it's the one meme where it's like he's all like JD Vance is chubby and bald headed and kind of
Make sure you show it because, maybe
yes.
not. Better not.
I thought about I will show it though. If I get deported, you all know why.
See ya.
Yeah,
So
thanks.
wait a minute. How did they? Okay, I'm assuming you're going to tell me because how did they get
Yes.
his phone?
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. So the 21-year-old landed at the Newark airport in New Jersey, where he was stopped and asked if there's any meat in his suitcase. Which,
Why
I
would there
get
be
asked. I
meat?
get asked that all the time. So
Ugh.
apparently, he had a cured sausage in his luggage that he was bringing as a gift to his friends. I don't know. It sounds very Norwegian or something.
Gross.
Again,
Okay.
this is all his side of the story here. So they took him into an armored room where he thought he was going to just dispose of the meat, which he was totally fine with. He goes on to say, I felt prejudiced, suspected, and simply humiliated even then in front of many other people at the airport. They took me to a room with several armed guards where I had to hand over my shoes, mobile phone, and backpack.
Mm.
So he goes on to say that the officers had started off asking like questions about his travel plans, but then they moved on to more personal questions. So he says that they asked questions about drug smuggling, terrorist
Mm.
plans, and right wing extremism completely without reason. He alleged to the Daily Star that they demanded full information about everyone I was going to meet in the U.S., including names, addresses, phone numbers, and what they did for work.
Ooh.
Yeah, he said that they asked to do a
Luckily, I
standard.
don't know what you guys do for work, so
You know,
I couldn't
that's
give up.
I was thinking like I don't know what any of my friends do. I probably get deported just for that.
Just for that, how do you
So,
not know?
right. I don't know. I know she works. That's all I know.
I mean, there she is.
Right. So he said that the officers asked to do a standard check of his phone and asked for his password. So
Ooh.
Mickelson hesitated, but the officers told him that he could face a $5,000 fine or 5 years in prison for not complying with the U.S. authorities.
What?
Yeah.
Clearly, he doesn't know how to erase his phone. I think he needs to go back a couple of episodes where we talk about
Yeah.
that.
The mushroom lady.
Should have, yeah,
Yeah.
he could have gave him a wrong code where it just deleted everything.
Well, so they started showing images on a monitor from his phone. And so one that they came up like I'm like that right there,
I can
like just you
already
can stop.
see.
Just support me.
Just stop.
Yeah.
Before you even bring this up, let's just go ahead and turn around.
Yeah. So he said that they came across a photo of a wooden tobacco pipe that he made in wood shop, and they asked him if it was drug paraphernalia, which he explained to them like, no, this is for like it's a pipe that I made where you smoke tobacco, like Popeye or whatever.
Right,
So
right.
the
Yeah, he's smoking tobacco.
right.
Hmm.
So they thought that that was drug paraphernalia. So the officers then asked him if he's ever tried drugs. And Mickelson said that he had consumed marijuana twice in his life in places where drugs were legal. The officers then came across the JD Vance meme, and the officer told him that the image was illegal and dangerous and called it propaganda as well.
Wow. So we're illegal and dangerous as well.
Right.
All the propaganda we have going on.
As I'm saying, if they could see our phones as
That's
American
why
citizens,
you have to delete that crap. It has every 30 days. Just drop it. That's
listen,
how I
our
have
our
mine set up.
Instagram conversations is all memes. So
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think half the world's already. But
right.
okay. So go
So
on. What happened to my boy Mads now?
so yeah, so after hours of being strip searched and his belongings gone
Woo!
through, apparently
Did he
they
get a
found a
cavity? A
well,
cavity search?
he didn't say
Bend over,
cavity, but he said that they
cough
were like gripping him very strongly, like painfully, as they were doing this
on his
search.
balls.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Like sign me up.
Ew.
Joking. So
Cough.
yeah, as ice shows up in my house tomorrow. We heard you want to
Okay.
be searched.
Mm.
So so after hours of this, the officers told him that he was being denied entry over a combination of narcotic paraphernalia as well as extreme propaganda. So when his story broke in Norway, the Department of Homeland Security publicly rejected the claim that the tourist was deported over a JD Vance meme and said that Mickelson was denied entry because he admitted to using drugs.
Yeah, because we don't like druggies and people who hate a miracle.
So
Wow.
I mean, again, like, what are your? I guess like us as American citizens, like maybe we don't have to worry about this, but like, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, always carry a burner phone. Leave the
Yeah,
real one at home,
right.
and take the other one that has nothing on it. Make sure there's no drug paraphernalia on it. Have your MAGA hat on. If you're coming from, another country, wear some neutral colors. But I think it's crazy. I mean, you hear about it, but
Hmm.
like I told you, I've been out of the country this year and didn't have a problem coming or going. I mean, they didn't do anything crazy. They didn't look in my bag or anything. They were just like, "Welcome back,"
Right.
stamped your passport and whatnot. But I guess anybody, if you're coming from another country, maybe it's a little bit more strict, and they're looking for stuff. I mean, it was a part of the news that the president was going to limit the traveling for people coming in and going out
Hmm.
of the United States. But I mean, they can't be. That would mean the entire United States American citizens are going to get deported
Right.
because we all have something crazy on our phone that pertains to this administration. And so, again, I if we have to delete stuff, or like I say, carry burners,
Right.
because if they do start checking when you come in, trust and believe you're going to get that call. So, yeah, we've got a problem.
Yeah.
Don't open the door because they're coming for you as well.
It's
It's crazy,
yeah.
So that's what they're going to do to everybody. Now he's probably never able to come back to America again to see his friends, which is crazy.
Mhm.
So yeah, people just need to get, well, let's say, buck up, little soldier. I thought the picture was hilarious.
Well, that's
You
the
know how
thing,
they
like
always,
go ahead.
you know how, yeah, they always send show those pictures of stars and everything. They had that picture of Jay Z and Beyonce. If they weren't Jay Z and Beyonce,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like it's hilarious because yeah, money buys you beauty. You know, I mean, look at me.
It even buys you height.
Yeah, exactly. So, but if people can't take jokes and just, and look at it and just laugh,
Yeah.
because obviously, I mean, JD is not, he doesn't look like that at all. He's,
Ah.
he has beautiful eyeliner makeup
Yeah.
on, permanent eyeliner, got a nice croft, and that beard is nicely, put together. So he should have just laughed about it, but
Uh,
no,
yeah, it's I
not this
mean,
government.
I again, this is all alleged. This is mainly coming from Mad's side of the story. Um, but yeah, I mean, if this is true, and this is really what happened. Like, I think we're overreaching here a little bit with this
Right.
meme because I mean, again, it kind of looks like JD just without hair. But the people's responses on social media have been great. Like a lot of people have changed their profile pictures to this meme, and a
Oh,
lot of them
good.
are like responding with the meme. So it's like doubling down on getting this circulated. But
Be careful.
true that. So let's move on to my next topic here. That's I to me is like a very American situation. So I want to
Ooh.
talk about Chef Laquita, or better known as Chef Quita Cole. Um, so Cole is a Nashville native whose death has sparked a lot of emotional discussion in regards to the grind or grinding and this culture that's been built, especially for Black women, that glorifies hustle over health. So, Quita grew up in Nashville cooking for her brothers while her mother worked. She was taking care of others before most kids even knew how to boil water. So, the
Mm,
same sense of responsibility of constantly putting others first has followed her through life. She opened up QC Kitchen in 2022, which is a soul food restaurant that became like the heart of her community. She gave people a place to belong. She gave jobs, mentorships. She was always moving, one friend said, and always checking on people, serving food, showing up, but who was pouring into her, said the friend.
right.
So, according to friends and those close to her, Kita had been noticeably overwhelmed and fatigued in the days leading up to her death. So she'd
Mm,
been vocal about needing a break. So she's been working like 7 days a week, constantly at this job. And
oh,
anyone that's worked food industry knows like it is not an easy job. Constantly on your feet. Can for her as someone that was like running and owning it, like you got even those responsibilities like added onto that. So
right.
she finally decided to take a weekend off and posted online, Kita needs rest. So just days later from that post on April 25th, 2025, she took a nap and passed away in her sleep.
Ugh,
So it's like, I mean, me reading that, it just kind of reaffirms to me like you need to take your PTO. You need to take your time off because this job and these people don't care about you. Like
exactly.
it's
That's yeah. I heard about that. Now it's crazy that she knew it. She just letting everybody know. I need my rest, and
yeah,
the Lord said, "Yes, you do. Let's come on home." That's it's very sad that she unfortunately has given so much, and it just got taken away. But I mean, again, we're only here for a moment. We're only a chapter in a book of life,
hmm,
and she served her purpose. But yeah, it is hard. I think you remember it was a while, probably like the end of last year, where I was working two jobs just to kind of get caught up on stuff,
yeah,
and it is it's exhausting, it's draining, and but yeah, I mean, here in California, even, you know, the salary that you make, you're still considered, poor.
Yep.
And it's true, rents, mortgages, everything keeps going up. Rent, goes up, and everything is expensive. Food, gas, and you have to hustle. You have to, make ends meet. And also, it sounds like she was taking care of a lot of people in her life
Yeah.
and just doing so much for her community, maybe in her area, that at some point, again, who's checking on her? You know, I saw a great, I guess it was not a meme, but just a post. If you were to disappear for a week, who would be the first to look for you, call on you,
Mhm.
even come to find you? Now, for me, no one knows where I live, but for you,
Right.
but you, I mean, if I don't answer in 24 hours, you're
Right.
panicking. But it. Sometimes you have to sit back and go, "Hey, how you doing? What help do you need?" And I think that's where we kind of all fail each other. Sometimes, we do have those deep conversations, but I think sometimes also it's a little uncomfortable for people.
Mhm.
I know sometimes it's hard for me to open up, but you also have to, have a good network, and but also you don't want to burden people
Yeah.
because everybody has their own stuff going on. But for her, it was very sad that she did all that, but it seems like it was her time then to just check out, and thankfully she went peacefully in her sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you never know when it's your time, but
Right.
the discussion had is that maybe if she wasn't so stressed and overworked, like would she still be with us today? Uh, and like I get that, like I like uh my father who passed away before he was even able to retire. It's like, gosh, all that working and for what? like,
Exactly. I
like
mean, it's the same thing we talk about. It's like you work all these years, and now
yeah,
they're pushing the retirement age even further out.
yeah,
So you work all these years, and you can only enjoy retirement for a couple of years, and then boop, you're dead. You
right.
know. So it's like spend it while you have it. Do what you can while you're alive, because as soon as you stop moving and stop doing anything, you're gonna drop dead.
Plop.
Bloop.
Uh, but so yeah, I mean, those were my topics this week. Like I said, just reflecting on very American things. I think the grind and hustle culture is very like promoted here in the US.
Right.
Uh, and people like see like taking a break as like a weakness in a lot of cases. So, you know, screw that. Take your breaks.
Take your break, indeed.
All right. Ah,
So,
mhm.
with that, it sounds like you got some good advice for America. So, why don't you go
Yeah.
ahead and roll that up?
Sure. So, as always, we want to remind our audience that we are not trained professionals and our advice should not be taken seriously. But what qualifications do we have, Franklin?
Well, if we survive the Castros 2 for 1 night
Hmm.
without taking PTO and the next day getting kidnapped by that man in a van, we are able to lead you through life's challenges. Hit me with it.
At least we did not show that man in the van or JD Vance memes because we probably would have been deported.
Exactly. He was ICE undercover.
To where I don't even know. But today we're going to be pulling our questions from Reddit's Am I the Asshole category.
You are.
Thanks. If you'd like us to answer your request for advice, please DM us in our socials or comment. Maybe your question will appear in our next episode. All right, so the first one is Am I the asshole for attempting to move around someone still loading their trays at the TSA line?
Oh,
So
this is a good one. This is a good one. All right,
they
let's
go on to
go.
say, I just got to the TSA behind a lady, and it's basically just the two of us and a pretty empty security check in. I'm in absolute zero rush as my flight boards an hour later, and my gate is only like 200 feet from the security check. My tray is sitting basically at the back edge of the surface where you slide the trays along, so that big metal table.
Right.
I'm right behind her, but just have a tray with my book bag and shoes already in it. The lady has two bags, each in trays, another tray with a coat, and something she gets to grab another tray for. When she
What?
goes when she goes to get the other tray, I assume she was going to be pulling out a laptop or tablet out of one of her bags, as I don't see anything else in her hands that she needs this extra tray for. So I picked up my tray to go around her into the empty space closer to the x ray machine, since it seemed more awkward to just stand right behind her and wait while she loads the fourth tray. She
Right.
then quickly takes out something out of the tray that she has her coat in to this fourth tray and starts sliding her stuff towards the x ray. I don't rush to beat her there once she starts moving, but while she slides her stuff, she turns around and says, "Nah, you're not going to try to cut me like that."
Oh,
I,
oh.
I
Nah.
respond, yeah. I respond, "Okay, that's fine," and just put my tray down behind hers since she's moving now. She continues with, "Nah, don't act crazy because it can get crazy."
It was a sister.
So which I responded, "It's okay, everything is fine." She keeps going and says, "You can just apologize, it'd be fine, but you're not going to cut me." And I didn't say anything. So there's nobody around to see or hear this besides a TSA lady behind the x-ray who I look at for some type of indication of if I'm doing something wrong or if the tray lady is being extra aggressive for what I see as a
The tray
non-issue.
lady.
But she keeps a relatively neutral expression on her face, which I understand. The situation felt odd to me, so I wanted to check if I broke a code or something. I'm not at all new to flying, but this felt very out of left field, and I can't remember a similar situation clearly enough to refer back to. This is America for context.
America.
America. So they go on to say, I don't think I was clear enough. The TSA employee managing the x ray was not the only employee at the security check, just the only one close enough to see and hear this interaction. It was
Right.
not shouting or anything, and it altogether lasted less than a minute.
I totally get what he's saying. And yes, I have I have sat there and waited for people as well as the
Yes.
line just backs up and backs up. And I've also moved ahead of folks, you know. I've kind of said something though. It's like, do you mind if I go ahead? It seems like you have a lot. And they're like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Even in the grocery store,
Mm,
people they turn around and they see you have like 5 items where they have 99. They're like, "Hey, you can go ahead of me."
yeah.
And you're like, "Are you sure? Thank you so much," you know? So I think that for him, it could have been a quick, "Hey, do you mind if I, go ahead of you? I just have this one little tray." See, you know, or, "Do you need help? Any more help?" or anything like that? Because it seems like you have a lot of stuff. Why are you carrying so much stuff? Why didn't you check something? But, yeah, I think, for him, he's not the asshole. I just think that maybe he could have, you know, said something to her quickly.
Yeah.
But, nah, you ain't about to cut me.
Don't act
That was
crazy
great.
because it can
Don't
get
act we're not
crazy.
about to act crazy up in here, nah. Oh my god, no, he didn't do anything wrong. I just think maybe he should have, you know, used some communication skills. Do
Mm.
you mind hey, Laquita, do you mind if I go ahead of you?
Listen, you're assuming that she's a woman of color.
She turned around and said, "Nah, you ain't about to cut me." That's exactly how it went down, and I know sister girl was like, "Mm-mm, you ain't about to do this. Step back, bruh."
I don't like. First of all, I'm like, oh, you want to act crazy? Go ahead, because you'll be denied flights for the rest of your life. But the other
Right.
thing too is like I know like even I've had instances where TSA agents see the mom with like 10 kids and she's putting them all in their all individual trays and slide them through the X-ray machine. Um, that TSA agents will like kind of wave like you to come forward since they know you're just
Right.
sitting there staring at them. So I mean maybe the TSA agent could have interjected, but it sounds like it was pretty moving. It wasn't busy at all. um, but yeah, I am not the person for confrontation. So I probably would just stood there with my tray in my hand, just staring at her while she unloaded every single life belonging she ever had in any tray. So
Right. What I hate is that when you do stand there and they've got all these things and it's going through, or yours has gone through and you're waiting for somebody
mm,
else to like get patted down or whatnot,
yes.
and your tray is sitting there. And I'm keeping my eye on my tray because I'm just
Yes.
like, if somebody snatches my crap, I'm gonna bolt through this airport. It's gonna go down. Man, I'm just standing there. I'm like, can you guys hurry up? If you need to do a cavity search, take them to the back, you know? Or they keep bringing your things back through the X-ray because there's something in there.
Yeah.
Then they take it out, so I leave dirty underwear sitting right on top for them.
Oh.
Take a whiff of that.
I'm like the same. Like even like if they're not getting patted down, sometimes people like hold up the line once you get through the scanner. And I'm the same way. I'm like looking at my bin. I'm like, you touch my shit, I swear to God.
Exactly.
Like
I'm like,
my
don't touch my shit.
yeah. My wallet is sitting there. Like I got my eye right on my wallet. I'm
Everything.
like, try it.
Everything. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, maybe he should have just kind of, hey, you mind if I go ahead?
Right.
Instead of just taking his tray and just moving ahead.
I would have shoved your
Good
shit
stuff.
right off the table. Like,
Ooh,
oops.
nah, we ain't about to do that.
Yeah. All right. So my next one here is, am I the asshole for taking off my shoes on a flight?
Yes, don't even have to read it.
Yeah. Recently, I traveled to another country to attend a metal concert. The flight was, do you know what heavy metal music is, Franklin?
No, I don't.
So,
Just-
so the flight was going to be 1.5 to 2 hours. I only had a carry-on with me, but I wanted to wear my knee-high Doc Martens, which are heavy and big and wouldn't fit in my carry-on. And even if they did, they'd be awkward to carry. But I also didn't fancy to sit in them for the duration of the flight in a small space. So I made sure they don't smell, preventatively sprayed them with some shoe spray before I left home. When I sat down in my seat, I took my shoes off and put on fresh socks. My shoes were under my legs. They weren't bothering
Wait a
anybody.
minute.
Yeah,
He didn't have any socks on with those nasty docs?
that's what it sounds
Okay, keep
like.
going on. Ew, ew,
I know. That right
ew.
there sounds.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay.
So a lady was about to sit next to me and she saw that I didn't have shoes on and she freaked out, called me disgusting, etc. I tried explaining that I had clean socks, but she demanded I put my shoes back on. I refused. She called the
Here we go.
stewardess and I explained again. The stewardess told her there was nothing she could do because I wasn't breaking any rules.
Right.
The lady was huffing and puffing all throughout the flight. She also she also filmed me when she's berating me, so who knows, it may be online by now. But I
Wow.
tried to ignore her and just put my headphones on. The lady even complained about this when we were giving our passports, and they ignored her as well. I told my friends about this, and they're kind of divided. Some agree with me, and some say it's kind of gross, and I could have been more accommodating and put my shoes on. Am I the asshole for taking my shoes off?
I think so. I
Yeah.
mean, if it was a short flight, I can see if we were, traveling 18 hours out of the country, and that's where you wear appropriate clothing so that you have your, what do you call those, compression socks on
Yeah.
and things like that, and some, maybe some slippers or something so that you aren't confined. I understand he was going to, what do you call it, a metal concert? Do they just shave metal and
Yeah.
do stuff? Okay.
It's like, what
So,
was that back in the day, like where they're like banging on pipes and stuff? Was that like Stomp or
oh,
something?
got you. So something like that.
No.
And so he had to wear his combat boots, it sounds like. But again, those are, even if it was a 2-hour flight, those are some heavy shoes to
Yeah.
wear. And so maybe he didn't need to take them off. He could have just loosened them up. I don't know how they, if they were laces or if they were just slip-ons or whatnot. But yeah, maybe he shouldn't have worn them at all. And if he carried them, he could have put them in the in a bag and put them in the overhead, and we would have never even known about it.
Right.
But he also should have waited for someone to sit down next to him and ask them, "Hey, would you mind? I'll go to the restroom, take them off, clean my feet and whatnot." But again, just simple communication, people. Just communicate. And although the lady didn't need to be huffing and puffing and recording this
Right.
culture nowadays, you can't do anything without somebody taking out their phone trying to record you. You don't have my consent. You don't have my consent.
Sounds like
But
you have
yeah,
experience with this.
no. But it's like it is kind of yeah. Again, I see his point, and what he wants to do, but he should have prepared. And yeah, I've seen people who have taken bruh, you're not in your living room,
Right.
put your shoes on. We're only going to Vegas. Put your shoes on. It's not that serious. And you should have prepared better, put your hey dudes on that you could just slip on and walk around in. So yeah, it's disgusting.
And they talk about like all this preparation that they did beforehand. Like I'm getting on a plane, like I didn't know you did all that. All I know is you just got your stinky ass feet out, your corns
Right.
and bunions all
Yeah.
showing.
I mean, unless he put a post-it on the seats next to him, "Hey, this is what I did beforehand so I don't stink."
Yeah.
Then I don't know. I just walk up and I see you got your little, your corn toes out and it smells like corn chips in the
Oh,
airline.
not the Fritos.
Yeah. All the toes.
Oh yeah, your little
So,
piggy
yeah.
just wiggling out there.
Ugh,
Mm-mm-mm.
gross.
And then they
And he
put
didn't
their
have
feet up on
socks
the
on and
yeah,
oh, yeah. Put him up on the hand rest and whatnot.
yeah.
People are disgusting. Yeah, it's nasty.
Uh, well, on that note, that's all that I had for this week.
I think that's all that is necessary.
Well, thank you again, everyone, for liking, subscribing, listening, sharing. I love it. Thank you for all the comments. Franklin's always getting stopped on the street, like, "Hey, isn't that you from that podcast?" So keep it coming.
No.
Yeah. As she pulls out her phone to start recording. If you want to act
Oh my
crazy,
god.
you'll get crazy.
We can get crazy.
Yeah. But anything else to take us out on today, Franklin?
That's all. Just keep your shoes on, people.
And take your PTO.
And take your PTO. Get your rest.
On that note, bye.
Bye.